Hello, I'm Sevil Mikhailova.
And I'm Claude Salhani, and this is This Week in Focus. Tülin, everybody had predicted that Erdogan was going to lose some space, lose a little bit of his power. The contrary happened, and he comes out stronger in these elections. What do you think happened?
I think the expectation was not well founded to begin with. On June 7, yes, the Turkish people gave an opportunity to the opposition parties to form a coalition. But the people also saw that the opposition is not able to get together to form a government. And from July 20th, where a suicide bomber attacked in Syria, town near the border with Syria, killing 38 people, Turkey lost almost 800 people to, different kinds of terror attacks, and sometimes, carried by the state officials, state security apparatus. And people didn't want to see blood. The business community had also received a strong message that if this election were not to produce any single party government that definitely favors the ruling Justice and Development Party, then the atmosphere in the country is going to get even more intense. The blood is going to continue. There would be no stability in the markets, and people basically did not want to face any economic turmoil. So the vote is not ideologically based, but the vote is, for very pragmatic reasons. People do not want to see more blood, and people do not want to face any economic challenges.
So where do we go from here? Where does AKP, the Justice and Development Party, what's the next step for them? What will they try and consolidate? What will they try and do?
Well, they have the mandate for the next 4 years, and there will be no elections in this, 4 years, including the local election, the presidential election, and the general election. There will be none. So it is very difficult to predict from today or to even speculate from today as to what will, this 4-year mean for Turkey. We will see. The Kurdish peace process is likely no more in this, short term, at the least, and that also Erdogan will be willing to use his, to do all he can to change the constitution and then change the country's parliamentary system into a presidential one. It's just too early to speculate whether he can do it or not, because he does not have that number of the seats in the parliament to do that. But you never know. I mean, there can be, this is politics. He can win some members from the Nationalist Movement Party, where he needs only 18, I think. And so things could change.
It's going to be a very interesting 4 years, I take it.
Absolutely.
And Tülin, coming back to the constitutional changes which Turkey might have in the upcoming 4 years, so what does it promise to Turkey, this change?
Well, we do not know what the Justice and Development Party proposes as the new constitution. They asked, a professor, actually a group of constitutional experts to prepare one, but they never actually presented that, draft constitution to the parliament. So because they haven't done that, I do not think that it would be fair to even speculate that would be the basis for the AKP constitution. We really do not know that. And Ahmet Davutoğlu, the prime minister, said the day after his party's victory at the ballot box, that the first thing they will change in the constitution would be Article 657, which gives a privileged status to the state personnel, the bureaucrats of the country. The reason why they are doing it is that because they want to clean all the state institutions from Jemaat members. But while they're doing that, it looks like it's going to be, it's going to create a turmoil in the way how the state institutions work, operate, and how they're going to keep the country secure and functioning during that time. There's a lot of concern on that one, but that infighting is going to get intensified for sure.
So for now, the EU is something we forget, we sweep under the rug. You remember a few years ago how much Erdogan was looking forward to getting Turkey into the European Union. Is that something now of the past?
Well, did Erdogan really wanted to get Turkey as a full member to the EU? We can question it. We may differ on as to whether he really wanted it or not.
Right.
We can also question whether he really wanted to have a resolution on the Kurdish issue. But whatever it is, without getting into too much detail, now the European Union is going to release its progress report. Possibly next week. They held it up until the election, so they will be releasing it next week. We will see how they are going to talk about the chances whether to open the next two chapters for the accession talks or not. I believe people in Brussels are really feeling, challenged in terms of what to do next. Yeah. But one of the two chapters is about judiciary. And this is becoming even more of a troubled chain of the Turkish democracy. The rule of law is getting under scrutiny, especially by some of the population. They wonder whether this is only serving to one group of the society and that there is too much politicization in the judiciary, and whether that really constitutes the rule of law on the land. So I think overall Turkey and the European Union may benefit if they were to open these chapters so that they can have a conversation, a continuing conversation with Turkey, and pointing how important it is that we really do not give up and do not concede from the high standards of rule of law that a civilized, developed countries do cherish. But we have to yet see how that's going to happen.
As we know, so the ruling AKP party was in the was in state power in Turkey for 40 years and now plus 4 years. How will it change or add something to Turkey's role in the region?
Well, the ruling party may interpret that their foreign policy and, the way how they position Turkey and everything is well received by the people because they continue to win consecutively. And they become the longest serving government in Turkish Republic's history. So for that reason, I think they're going to continue the way they are in their approach to Syria. And where some of them disagree that this is the right path for Turkey. But right now, I don't think that Turkey really has much to maneuver on the Syrian theater, as long as this, bloodshed does not further spill into Turkey. So this is not an easy hand. But, what it means is that Turkey's, not Turkey's, but the ruling Justice and Development parties hope to activate the Ottoman years, and being the leader of the region will go nowhere, and we will see how the region is going to respond to it. The region is, as everyone knows, is in a dire turmoil where we have lost our humanity and morality in many of the places, but definitely in Syria, people longer caring the lives of the people. There's just, kind of statistics that we, talk about, 300,000 died in Syria and so, but we really do not do anything to fix the situation and find a way how to bring end to this bloodshed. And so we will see how this is going to go. But one of the things that Turkey may take into consideration is that in November 2016, the United States is going to elect its next president. Whether it be a Democrat, White House in 2016 or a Republican White House, the Iran deal will stay. If it were to be, if the Republicans win the White House, yes, they may tweak and change some parts of this Iran deal, but overall, that structure, that agreement is going to stay because the U.S., whether Republican or Democrat, they do not want to, disappoint their allies further. They also, have a lot of concerns. So what does that mean for Turkey? That means the U.S. is going to progress on the Iran deal. That means that's also the way how the U.S. is going to look at the Middle East. So Turkey has to be a little bit cautious in the way how it chooses its relationship with the U.S. and how it chooses to, stand as an ally or a party that accuses the U.S. of its, wrong policies in the region. But it has to work on that silver lining. We will see how this new government is going to be able to do that or not. But, the main challenge they will have is going to be on the Kurdish issue. And so we will see.
Tülin, do you see the day when Turkish troops might be involved in fighting in Syria?
People speculate about it. See Russia openly involved on the Syrian theater. The U.S. says that they are cooperating their efforts with Russia on Syria, which means that Assad is going to stay in power for some more time. And I do not see that the Russians and the Iranians and the Americans, but mainly Russians and the Iranians and the Arab population, would be willing to see Turkish troops crossing onto the Syrian land. Whether they're bleeding or not, they would definitely object to Turkey's presence in that region. They would consider it as expensive of the Turkish territory, and I don't think that they would give a free hand to accept it as such.
Tülin, let's look at Turkey's economic relations as well. So do you think that Turkey will correct its economic relations with its neighbors as well?
Well, with its neighbors, Turkey had been exporting to the Middle East through Syria. There's no way that Turkey can use that path again. And so they started to use the cargo ships going to Israel, to the Haifa port, so that they could, use that route. I don't think that it's going to be functioning really well in the, next year or so, because Turkey's relationship with Israel isn't coming back, but the trade is staying there, but it's not sustainable with this, atmosphere. Turkey's overall export is always with the European Union countries. Now, I think what is important to follow, they do not see any foreign direct investment coming into Turkey for some time. And we also see that some of the Turkish really out there, I do not know how many, but because of this is in the society, because of this heightened polarization in the society, some of the big firms are moving their headquarters outside Turkey. And so people are concerned as to how to manage the economic risks and the monetary challenges that's at hand, because they don't know how the currency is going to shift, how the inflation is going to hold up with that. So there are a lot of unknowns, and the business community usually prefers to know what is next. They don't like unprecedented, steps ahead, or they don't want surprises. They want stability. So we will see. But I think the challenge for Turkey, or the challenge for the next government, should be to find ways to bring in foreign direct investment into Turkey again, and to help the Turkish business industry to increase their exports rather than having imports into the country. And also, we do, make a lot of money through the tourism industry, and it wasn't really doing that well this year. So there's a lot that, we can focus. There is no reason to be that gloomy or that, concerned about the path ahead, but it certainly is not an easy journey on the economic so we will see how they're going to manage it. We will see how, this year is going to close up.
And finally, speaking about the Turkish-Azerbaijani relations, as we know, Turkey and Azerbaijan enjoy very friendly, close, warm relations. So how will this election affect the bilateral relations?
I don't think that the election is going to make any difference on Turkey's relationship with Azerbaijan. It's the same government for the past 13 years. So it's going to be the continuity of the same trend, nothing new. But the only thing that could be introduced to the relation could be the way how Russia expands its influence in the region and also in Syria, and how that impacts the pipelines, and how Turkey prefers to, position itself in between all these different, power games. The Russian influence getting more presence in Azerbaijan's immediate neighborhood, from Georgia to Ukraine. We do see that there's still, very strong unease. And we do also see a Russian presence in Syria. So we see a more active Russia in the region. And so Turkey is not going to be in a position to take Russia against itself, definitely not very openly, because Turkey is also very much dependent on the Russian natural gas. It can do to a certain extent, but not really that very far. So we will see how they're going to balance all these delicate and nuanced relationships and interests in the coming months and years. It's just better to watch and see rather than draw a conclusive judgment as to how this is going to prevail.
Tülin Daloglu, expert on Turkish affairs, thank you very much for joining us today, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you so much.
Well, it looks as though the Turkish government and the Turkish people have their work cut out for them for the next 4 years at least. It's going to be a very interesting 4 years. Come what may, we wish them a better tomorrow.
I think these 4 years will be successful for Turkey based on their 14 years in power, and I think that they have already their scenario for further development, because this is an experienced state power in Turkey.
Inshallah.
Goodbye.